Range Rover Evoque. We are going to do a video about Range Rover Evoque fuses. Now, we all blow a fuse from time to time, don't we, Tyler? Yeah. Yeah. Tyler's very calm, actually. Right. When you blow a fuse on your car, not blowing a fuse. Right. We are going to go through the 3 fuse box locations on a Range Rover Evoque. We are going to show you how to find them. We are going to show you a spreadsheet. We're going to show you a spreadsheet we're going to make to help you find what fuse has blown. We are going to show you how to change a fuse. We are going to show you where the spare fuses are hidden, because they're not that logical, are they, Tyler? No. We are going to show you the tools that are in the car hidden to change the tool. And we're going to show you the secret shelf where the handbook lives that I must have known at one point, but I've forgotten. So, right. So when something electrical doesn't work on your car, the chances are it may have blown a fuse. Sometimes when bulbs blow and heater motors pack up, they will take a fuse down. Sometimes you'll replace the fuse, but if there's an electrical fault, you'll just keep popping fuses. But fuses are a good first check when you have an electrical problem on your car. And they're good because they stop all your wiring melting and your car catching fire, which we like. Right, so where shall we start, Tyler? Right, let's start with the handbook, shall we, Tyler? Yeah. Have you put it back where it should be? Yeah. Right, so when your fuse blows, go to your handbook first, because Land Rover wrote a book, so you don't have to watch people like me on YouTube, which is brilliant. So you open your glove box, and we'll look at where the damper is for that. I didn't even know this was there. There's a little bit you can grab here, push there, little push button, right? Ta-da! I must have known it there. And then when you go to your book, it's like someone knew you were going to look at fuses first, and they put a little bookmark in here. You won't have one of these. And then you will go to page, on mine it's page 199. Look, and then it lists the fuses, and it goes on to say, we ought to read this, Tyler, might be some good tips. Engine compartment fuse box, we will show you where that one is. And there are fuses here. So it gives you the fuse number, the fuse rating, how many amps they'll take, and the fuse color. And the color should relate, is color coded to the current they take. Everyone knows all this. So there's 2 pages on that. There's the passenger compartment fuse box, and God, there's loads of pages on that. And there's the luggage compartment fuse box. So where should we start, Tyler? Should we start at the rear and work our way forwards? As always, right. The Evoque, open the boot. Trunk, look, should we get all American? Right, you come this way, Tyler. Right, and then what we've got here is a pit of darkness. We need a light. We have some light. Right then, so here you have this. Oh, what's that? Me. What are you doing? I bumped my head. Oh, careful, T-Dog. Right then, and then there you go. You remove that now. On every one of these fuse box covers, there is an additional information, and we will put these in the spreadsheet. So Tyler's taken a picture of them, and you can see what fuse does what. How's your head doing? It's all right. It's all right. Good. Right then, I need you to keep working. So good. So, and then you will notice, and it's sort of split into this funny shape, but there you will see your fuses. Now, one thing to note, these rear fuse box fuses are bigger, but there are no spare fuses located here. So if you blow a fuse, when we get to the front fuse box, you will see there are spare fuses. So I don't think there's any more to talk about. That is your rear fuse. They're all fairly accessible. They're all fairly big. So these are what we call blade fuses, which are standard, not small. And you also have one of these bigger fuses. And basically you can pull the fuse out like that. And there is a tool for doing this. And then if you hold them against the light or a white background, you will see there is a little bridge in the middle. If a fuse has blown, that will obliterate. It will not be a joined thing. So I've forgotten where that came out of, Tyler. I was about to say. I think it came out of there. Luckily, we can watch our video. You can't picture. We'll watch our own video. We do that. We do that more than you'd think. Right. Come and join. Oh yeah, bring the light. Good idea, Tyler. Right. So how are we going to do this? I think I'm going to jump in the other side because I'm going to otherwise be in the way. Right. Bear with me. Right. We are now inside the car. So we are going to. So this fuse box is annoyingly sort of cut in half by the glove box. So we'll start with the upper part of it. If you drop the glove box, now there's no easy way, unfortunately, to drop the glove box. There you go. You can see better there. That's the. I ought to colour that in. Right then. And there isn't actually a rear panel. There's a secret rear panel here, and there's two little tabs. You might just be able to see them at the top that poke out. And if you push those down and pull them forward, you can extract this panel. So you can see how that fits in. It's got this little edge at the bottom that fits in, and you can see these little sort of tabs. And importantly, on the rear, you will see there is some instructions that tell you, if I got it the right way up, yep, that tell you what is what. So there, on each of the lids, there is this printed thing. But the fuse box doesn't really look like this. So if you look at the fuses there, you can see them at the back there. This appears to be a long thing, so it's somewhat stylized. So Tyler will do a thing on the computer, and we'll have a look at it in a minute. In fact, I'll put a screenshot on the screen now of his work in progress, and it should look more like the fuses do than this does, if you see what I mean. Right, so you can already see the top. Now, one thing to note in here is there is a red fuse box holder thing. Hold on, it's missing. We'll put it back in. Right, there should have been, if we prepared for our videos, there should be this thing here, which is a fuse box, a fuse grabber. And it means that if you've got slightly stumpy fingers, which, well, you'd have to have tiny fingers to grab these, it allows you to go in and these little jaws spread, and then these two little ridges there grab the fuses and you can rip them out. But this little tool should live, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler, it should live in there. So that is your first, that's your first helper. Now, there is one of those in the passenger, in this glove box fuse box. There's not one in the rear. So you may have to, even if you've got a rear fuse, come and grab the tool out of that one. Now, you can see most of the fuse box from here, but not all of it. So if you need to see the lower part of the fuse box, right, can you see this, Tyler? There is this lower panel here, and at the end it's got a little hole, and to the middle, this side of it, there's a little flat bit of plastic that you can push in towards the middle, and it will release that. And likewise, there's another clip right on the end here that you won't be able to see until I take it out. And if you do that, there we go. And so this is what you're looking for here. You're looking for this hole here. You got enough light there, Tyler, yet? And then by pushing that, you see you release this little arrow-headed, and likewise on the other side, there's a similar one there. And as you push that, it releases that little arrow. Now, when you put this back, you have to line these up. And it's got these little runners that help you. And also, these little tabs are supposed to be at the bottom, are supposed to be hidden under the carpet when you put it back. So just watch that. Just tuck them under the carpet so it's nice and neat. Right, so there we go. So Tyler, can you see the lower section of the fuse box under there? So you may have to go rummaging around to get to the lower fuse box, but you can see it's sort of split in half by this fuse box. Here's a cool thing. I was noticing how beautiful the glove box compartment goes up and down on this car, and it's this little piston here. Can you see this little piston here? And it's in a tube, and it's got a wire going around. And as you, let me see, as you move this, oh, my torch is gone. As you move this up and down, can you see that moving there?
A little bit.
A little bit. Right, so I've put my torch behind it so you can see it. But can you see that piston in there? And it's got like a sort of spring loaded, but it's a little piston. And that's what gives you your damping effect there. There you go. Thought you'd like to see that. Right, enough. We've deviated again. So that is, we've done the passenger fuse box. We've done where they are. We are now in the engine bay fuse box. Right, you now join us in the engine bay. And we have these little fixings. I don't like them, but they sort of should be brilliant. You can sort of unscrew them and pull them out, but we keep dropping them. So, yeah. There is, and there's another one at the other end up here. That's that. And I should sort of, sometimes it's easier just to pull. So two of those, and then there is. So obviously, yeah, these that I've coloured in here. So this is saying read your handbook, and this is saying fuses. I think that's the sort of recognised symbol for a fuse. And then this bit sort of pulls up. There is a sort of clip on it that you can sort of push here. Tyler's coloured that in, but they don't seem to grip that well. But if you're struggling, push on that bit there, and it will release it. Right, we've got enough light, Tyler. Right, so here we go. So now there is your fuse box. This is your fuse box here. It's sort of tucked away. And there's two things you have to press. One here that we've coloured in yellow, and one here and then we press both of those. Which way? We push that one that way, and that one, push them away from the, and that should pop the lid. Now it's on a sort of hinge at the back. I will show you. You can pull this out. So it's got this, there's sort of and there's a little place that docks into at the back. So make sure when you get it back, you'll see there's two little hoops, and you need to dock them in, and that, and right, now this is important, because now if I get this the right way up for you, Tyler, and get into some light, you will see this is the fuse box, and it tells you what fuses. Now importantly, you have some spare fuses here, but these are the larger fuses for the rear fuse box. You also have another tool here, but this tool is particularly good for getting the small fuses out. And you also have some spare small fuses. I'll get it right. And you also have a sort of diagram. Now again, like this diagram, all these fuses are in line, but they didn't have room to set it out. So they sort of had to sort of stylize it a bit. Notice this is Fomoco. So this is made by Ford Motor Company. Can you see that, Tyler? You got the Fomoco on there?
Yeah, just about.
Right, enough fun. Oh my goodness me, it's all falling apart. So let's have a look. What have we got here? Fuses. So there we go, so fuses. So you have all your fuses, and it's all laid out. Now there are some secret hidden fuses here. Don't forget there's a few down in there. Look down right at the front. There's a little, like little terracotta warriors there. Now this bit here does pull out to reveal some other fuses. Now you've got to press two little tabs in there, but they're good big monster 100 amp, and there's some in here. So you see it says there fuse 2, 3, 4, 5 on the diagram on the lid here. It's the ones that are along the top here. If you can't find those, it's because they're hidden. But as Tyler pointed out earlier, they're like 80 and 100 amps. If you've got those blowing, you're really getting into some sort of fairly scary electrical problems. So yeah, you might need some help there. Right, that's enough. Have I covered everything I wanted to cover? I think so. 3 fuse box locations. Oh yes, yes, Tyler's pointing. Simon. Right, fuses. Now, there was a time where you used to have the cartridge fuse, which was like the little cylinder, and everyone knew those. But then they went to the blade fuse, and we like the blade fuse. It's clear to see whether it's blown or not. And then they went to then they decided to come up with smaller fuses. But rather than just having one type of smaller fuse, they decided to have 3 types of smaller fuse in the automotive industry. And I'm sorry, I don't know what all the names are, but I've put them together. So if you're buying spare fuses for your Evoque, you do not want these 2. You can see the relative shapes. This is the one you need, this type here. And obviously this standard cartridge one there. So yeah, fuses, watch them. A mini blade fuse is not always a mini blade fuse, so careful with that. Right, good luck with your electrical problems, and I hope it's helped you understand your Evoque a little bit better. Catch you later.